Hare Krishna. So, we welcome you all to this reading session on Krishna book, chapter number 5. The title of this chapter is The Meeting of Nand and Vasudev. Before this, we would like to share information that if you have already joined our Telegram group, then you can exit our Krishna book quiz contest group. But please don't exit the spiritual info events group if you have joined it. We have created this telegram group only for communication of information regarding Krishna book quiz contest. So if you have already joined our Krishna book quiz contest in the telegram app, then you can leave our WhatsApp group, and please do not exit the spiritual info events group. So let's begin this session by chanting this prayer from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit. Krishna, 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 He. Krishna, 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 He. Krishna, 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 Rakshamam. Krishna, 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 Pahimam. Ram Raghava, Ram Raghava, Ram Raghava Rakshamam. Krishna Keshav, Krishna Keshav, Krishna Keshav Pahimam. प्रणाम मंत्र ऑफ शिल प्रभुपाद. नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन इति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशातारिणे. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So we are reading chapter number 5, the meeting of Nand and Vasudev. Although Krishna was the real son of Vasudev and Devaki, because of Kamsa's atrocious activities, Vasudev could not enjoy the birth ceremony of his son. But Nand Maharaj, the foster father, celebrated the birth ceremony of Krishna very joyfully. The next day, it was declared that a male child had been born to Yashoda. According to the Vedic custom, Nand Maharaj called for learned astrologers and Brahmanas to perform the birth ceremony. After the birth of a child, the astrologers calculate the moment of birth and make the horoscope of the child's future life. Another ceremony takes place after the birth of the child. The family members take baths, cleanse themselves, and decorate themselves with ornaments and nice garments. And then they come before the child and the astrologer to hear of the future life of the child. Nand Maharaj and all other members of the family dressed and sat down in front of the birthplace. All the Brahmanas who were assembled there on this occasion chanted auspicious mantras according to the rituals, while the astrologers performed the birth ceremony. All the demigods are worshipped on this occasion, as well as the forefathers of the family. Nand Maharaj distributed to the Brahmanas 2 lakh cows, which were well decorated with cloth and ornaments. He gave the Brahmanas not only cows in charity, but also hills of grain decorated with ornaments and golden bordered cloth. In the material world, we possess riches and wealth in many ways, but sometimes not in very honest and pious ways, because that is the nature of accumulating wealth. According to the Vedic injunction, therefore, one should purify such wealth by giving cows and gold in charity to the Brahmanas. A newborn child is also purified by gifts of grain in charity to the Brahmanas. In this material world, it is to be understood that we are always living in a contaminated state. We therefore have to purify the duration of our lives, our possession of wealth, and ourself. We can purify the duration of life by taking daily bath and cleansing the body inside and outside and accepting the 10 kinds of purificatory processes. By austerities, by worship of the Lord, and by distribution of charity, we can purify the possession of wealth. We can purify ourselves by studying the Vedas in order to understand the absolute truth and achieve self realization. It is therefore stated in the Vedic literature that by birth everyone is born a Shudra, that by accepting the purificatory process one becomes twice born, that is called a Dvija, that by studying the Vedas one becomes a Vipra, which is the preliminary qualification for becoming a Brahmana, and that when one perfectly understands the absolute truth, he is called a Brahmana. And when the Brahmana reaches and when the Brahmana reaches further perfection, he becomes a Vaishnava or a devotee. So, very important aspects are being explained over here. That first of all, it's being told about purification. So, if we want to purify different aspects of life, so where it has been shared that a newborn child is purified by gifts of grains to the charity to the brahmanas, and since we accumulate wealth by different means which are sometimes the nature of accumulating wealth is sometimes not very honest or pious, that's why we should purify our wealth. How? So we can purify our possession of wealth by worship of the Lord and distribution of charity. And by how can we purify ourselves? We can purify ourselves by our studying of the Vedas, absolute truth, and achieve self realization. Therefore, it is also been told that how can we purify the duration of our life? So, we can purify the duration of our life by taking daily bath and cleansing the body inside and outside and accepting the 10 kinds of purificatory processes. So these are the different aspects which have been told about purification. Apart from this, then Srila Prabhupada is also explaining about what is the process of elevation, that by birth everyone is born a Shudra. Nobody is born a Brahmana. It is by their the purificatory process that one undergoes, and by guna and karma one becomes elevated. So, so first of all, everybody is born a Shudra, right? And subsequently, after the purificatory process, one becomes twice born, or it's another word in Sanskrit, it is called Dvija. And then by studying the Vedas, one becomes a Vipra, right? And Vipra is the preliminary qualification of becoming a Brahmana. Brahmana means what? Brahm janati iti Brahmana, that when one perfectly understands the absolute truth, he is called a Brahmana. And when the Brahmana reaches further perfection, he becomes a Vaishnava. So uh, this is the highest stage where one becomes a fixed up devotee of Lord Vishnu. He becomes a Vaishnava or a devotee. In that ceremony, so let's move ahead. In that ceremony, all the assembled Brahmanas began to chant different kinds of Vedic mantras to invoke good fortune for the child. There are different kinds of chantings known as Suta, Magadha, Vandijya, and Virdavali. Along with this chanting of mantras and songs, bugles and kettle drums are sounded outside the house. On this occasion, the joyous vibrations could be heard in all the pasturing grounds and all the houses. Within and outside of the houses, there were varieties of artistic paintings done with rice pulp, and scented water was sprinkled everywhere, even on the roads and the streets. Ceilings and roofs were decorated with different kinds of flags, festoons, and green leaves. The gates were made of green leaves and flowers. All the cows, bulls, and calves were smeared with a mixture of oil, turmeric, and painted with minerals like red oxide, yellow clay, and manganese. They wore garlands of peacock feathers and were covered with nice colored cloths and gold necklaces. When all the ecstatic cowherd men heard that Nanda Maharaj, the father of Krishna, was celebrating the birth ceremony of his son, they became spontaneously joyful. They dressed themselves with very costly garments and ornamented their bodies with different kinds of earrings and necklaces and wore great turbans on their heads. After dressing themselves in this gorgeous way, they took various kinds of presentations and thus approached the house of Nanda Maharaj. So when everybody came to know that Nanda Maharaj had a son, so everybody came to congratulate him, and there was a very nice ceremony that was going on. So all the Gokul Vasis, they came to the house of Nand Maharaj. As soon as they heard that Mother Yashoda had given birth to a child, all the women became overwhelmed with joy, and they also dressed themselves with various kinds of costly garments and ornaments and smeared scented cosmetics on their bodies. As the dust on the lotus flower exhibits the exquisite beauty of the flower, all the gopis, that is the cowherd women, applied the dust of kumkum on their lotus like faces. These beautiful gopis took their different presentations and very soon reached the house of Maharaj Nanda. Overburdened with their heavy hips and swollen breasts, the gopis could not very quickly proceed towards the house of Nand Maharaj, but out of ecstatic love for Krishna, they proceeded as quickly as possible. Their ears were decorated with pearl rings, their necks were decorated with jeweled lockets, their lips and eyes were decorated with different kinds of lipstick and ointment, and their hands were decorated with nice golden bangles. As they were very hastily passing over the stone road, the flower garlands which were decorating their body fell to the ground, and it appeared that a shower of flowers was falling from the sky. So, when gopis are hastily running towards Nanda Maharaj's house, the flowers which were decorating their uh, body kept falling due to that haste and running, and it appeared that a shower of flowers was falling from the sky. From the movement of the different kinds of ornaments on their bodies, they were looking still more beautiful. In this way, they all reached the house of Nanda Yashoda and blessed the child. Dear child, you live long just to protect us. While they were blessing child Krishna in this way, they offered a mixture of turmeric powder, oil, yogurt, milk, and water. They sprinkled this mixture not only on the body of child Krishna, but on all other persons who were present there. Also, on that auspicious occasion, there were different bands of expert musicians playing. When the cowherd men saw the pastimes of cowherd women, they became very joyful, and in response, they also began to throw yogurt, milk, clarified butter, and water upon the bodies of the gopis. Then both parties began to throw butter on each other's bodies. Nanda Maharaj was also very happy to see the pastimes of the cowherd men and women, and he became very liberal in giving charity to the different singers who were assembled there. Some singers were reciting the great verses from the Upanishads and Puranas, some were glorifying the family ancestors, and some were singing very sweet songs. There were also many learned Brahmanas present, and Nand Maharaj, being very satisfied on this occasion, gave them different kinds of garments, ornaments, and cows in charity. So Nand Maharaj became very happy. And what kind of a festivity began over there? The cowherd men and cowherd women, they were throwing yogurt, milk, and butter and water on the bodies of the gopis. So we cannot imagine such a thing, because in today's modern society, milk, yogurt, all these butter are very expensive. Even water is expensive. So, Srila Prabhupada is again explaining ahead. It is very important to note that in this connection, how wealthy the inhabitants of Vrindavan were simply by raising cows. All the cowherd men belonged to the Vaishya community, and their business was to protect the cows and cultivate crops. By their dress and ornaments, and by their behavior, it appears that although they were in a small village, they were rich in material possessions. They possessed such an abundance of various kinds of milk products that they were throwing butter lavishly on each other's bodies without restriction. Their wealth was in milk, yogurt, clarified butter, and many other milk products. And by trading their agricultural products, they were rich in various kinds of jewelry, ornaments, and costly garments. Not only did they possess all these things, but they could give them away in charity lavishly, as did Nand Maharaj. So Sri Prabhupada is telling that they were simple cowherd men, and their business was only to protect the cows and cultivate crops. They were from the Vaishya community, but still, although living in a small village, they were so rich in material possessions, right? So, uh, and they were also having various kinds of jewelry, ornaments, and costly garments, right? Not only did they possess them, but they were even able to give them in charity. So, thus Nand Maharaj, the foster father of Lord Krishna, began to satisfy the desires of all the men assembled there. He respectfully received them and gave them in charity whatever they desired. The learned Brahmanas, who had no other source of income, were completely dependent on the Vaishya community for their maintenance, and they received gifts on such festive occasions such as birthdays and marriages. While Nand Maharaj was worshipping Lord Vishnu on this occasion, and was trying to satisfy all the people there, his only desire was that the newborn child Krishna would be happy. So Nand Maharaj was worshipping Lord Vishnu and he was trying to satisfy everybody who was present, but his only desire was that the newborn child Krishna would be happy. Nand Maharaj had no knowledge that this child was the origin of Vishnu. He was praying to Lord Vishnu to protect him. So, this is something amazing that Nand Maharaj never knew that this child, Krishna, is actually the origin of Vishnu. Rather, he was praying to Lord Vishnu that please protect him. So, Rohini Devi, the mother of Balram, was the most fortunate wife of Vasudev. She was away from her husband, yet to congratulate Maharaj Nanda on the occasion of the birth ceremony of his son Krishna, she dressed herself very nicely, wearing a garland, a necklace, and other bodily ornaments, she appeared on the scene and moved hither and thither. According to the Vedic system, a woman whose husband is not at home does not dress herself very nicely. But although Rohini's husband was away, she still dressed herself very nicely on this occasion. From the opulence of the birth ceremony of Krishna, it is very clear that at that time Vrindavan was rich in every respect. Because Lord Krishna took birth in the house of King Nanda and Mother Yashoda, the goddess of fortune, that is Lakshmi Devi, was obliged to manifest her opulences in Vrindavan. It appeared that Vrindavan had already become a site for the pastimes of goddess of fortune. After the birth ceremony, Nand Maharaj decided to go to Mathura to pay the annual tax to the government of Kansa. Before leaving, he called for the able cowherd men of the village and asked them to take care of Vrindavan in his absence. When Nand Maharaj arrived in Mathura, Vasudev got the news and was very eager to congratulate his friend. So we know that Kansa had released Vasudev from the prison house when goddess Durga Devi had appeared. So now, when Nanda Maharaj went to Mathura to pay the annual taxes to Kamsa's government, uh, who came to know about this? Vasudev got this news and he was very eager to congratulate his friend. He immediately went to the place where Nanda Maharaj was staying. When Nanda saw Vasudev, he felt that he had regained his life. Nanda, overwhelmed with joy, immediately stood up and embraced Vasudev. Vasudev was received very warmly and offered a nice place to sit. Anxious about his two sons, who had been put under the protection of Nanda without Nanda's knowledge, Vasudev inquired about them with great anxiety. So, who are the two sons? Krishna and Balram, right? So, Nand Maharaj knew about Balram ji, but he did not knew about Krishna. That Krishna was the son of Vasudev. Both Balram and Krishna were the sons of Vasudev. Balram was transferred to the womb of Rohini, Vasudev's own wife, but Rohini was kept under the protection of Nand Maharaj. Krishna was personally delivered to Yashoda and exchanged with her daughter. Nand Maharaj knew that Balramji was the son of Vasudev, but he did not know that Krishna was also Vasudev's son. Vasudev, of course, was aware of this fact and inquired very eagerly about both Krishna and Balaram. Vasudev then addressed Nanda, "My dear brother, you were old and very anxious to beget a son, and yet you had none. Now, by the grace of the Lord, you are fortunate to have a very nice son. I think that this incident is very auspicious for you. Dear friend, I was imprisoned by Kamsa, and now I am released. Therefore, this is another birth for me. I had no hope of seeing you again, but by God's grace I can see you." In this way, Vasudev indirectly expressed his anxiety about Krishna. Krishna was sent incognito to the bed of Mother Yashoda, and after Nanda very pompously celebrated Krishna's birth ceremony, he went to Mathura. So Vasudev was very much pleased and said, "This is a new birth for me." He never expected that Krishna would live because all his other sons had been killed by Kamsa. Vasudev continued, "My dear friend, it is very difficult for us to live together. Although we have family and relatives, sons and daughters, by nature's way we are generally separated from one another. The reason for this is that every living entity appears on this earth under different pressures of fruitive activities. And although they assemble together, there is no certainty of their remaining together for a long time. According to one's fruitive activities, one has to act differently and thereby be separated. For example, many plants and creepers are floating on the waves of the ocean. Sometimes they come together and sometimes they separate forever. One plant goes one way and another plant goes another. Similarly, our family assembly may be very nice while we are living together, but after some time, in the course of the waves of time, we are separated. So here we see Vasudev ji is giving a very wonderful analogy to understand that how, by virtue of time, uh, people come together as a family, and with passage of time, with the course of waves of time, they are separated. Just like few twigs or plant leaves or creepers, they come together by the waves of the ocean, and then they separate forever. The purport of this expression by Vasudev is this: although he had 8 sons born in the womb of Devaki, unfortunately they were all gone. Vasudeva did not have any son at that time because Balram and Krishna were at the place of Nand Maharaj, and all his 6 sons had died at the hands of Kamsa. He could not even keep one son, Krishna, with him. Vasudeva was feeling his separation, but he could not express the real fact. But he said, "Please tell me about the welfare of Vrindavan." He said, "You have many animals. Are they happy? Are they getting sufficient grass and water? Please also let me know whether the place where you are living now is undisturbed and peaceful." This inquiry was made by Vasudev because he was very anxious about Krishna's safety. He knew that Kamsa and his followers were trying to kill Krishna by sending various kinds of demons. They had already resolved that all the children born within 10 days of the birthday of Krishna should be killed. Because Vasudeva was so anxious about Krishna, he inquired about the safety of his residence. He also inquired about Balaram and Mother Rohini, who were entrusted to the care of Nanda Maharaj. Vasudev also reminded Nanda Maharaj that Balram did not know his real father. He knows you as his father, and now you have another child, Krishna, and I think you are taking very nice care of both of them. It is also significant that Vasudev inquired about the welfare of Nanda Maharaj's animals. The animals, and especially the cows, were protected exactly in the manner of one's children. Vasudev was a Kshatriya and Nanda Maharaj was a Vaishya. It is the duty of the Kshatriyas to protect the citizens, and it is the duty of the Vaishyas to give protection to the cows. The cows are as important as the citizens. As the human citizens should be given all kind of protection, so the cows should also be given full protection. Vasudev continued to say that the maintenance of religious principles, economic development, and the satisfactory execution of meeting the demands of the senses depend on the cooperation among relatives, nations, and all humanity. Therefore, it is everyone's duty to see that his fellow citizens and the cows are not put into difficulty. One should see to the peace and comfort of his fellow man and the animals. The development of religious principles, economic development, and sense gratification can then be achieved without difficulty. Vasudev expressed his sorrow due to not being able to give protection to his own sons born of Devaki. He was thinking that religious principles, economic development, and the satisfaction of the senses of his senses were therefore all lost. Upon hearing this, Nand Maharaj replied, my dear Vasudev, I know that you are very much aggrieved because the cruel king Kamsa has killed all your sons born of Devaki. Although the last child was a daughter, Kamsa could not kill her, and she has entered into the celestial planets. My dear friend, do not be aggrieved. We are all being controlled by our past unseen activities. Everyone is subjected to his past deeds, and one who is conversant with the philosophy of karma and its reactions is a man in knowledge. Such a person will not be aggrieved at any incident, happy or miserable. Vasudev then replied, my dear Nanda, if you have already paid the government taxes, then return soon to your place, because I think that there may be some disturbance in Gokul. After the friendly conversation between Nanda Maharaj and Vasudev, Vasudev returned to his home. Nanda Maharaj and other cowherd men who had come to Mathura to pay their taxes also returned home. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the fifth chapter of Krishna, the meeting of Nand and Vasudev. So, since we have completed this chapter, so tomorrow we will be singing one Vaishnav song, which is a very special song that is called Jai Radhe Jai Krishna Jai Vrindavan, and will be post. It will be a combined English and Hindi. We'll be putting a single video, so you can watch it tomorrow. And the test on chapter number 5 will be conducted on Wednesday, that is 8th of July at 8:30 p.m. So we thank everybody for attending this session. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.